We all have games that we hold close to home. Maybe it was a game that you think was the pinnacle of perfection at the time. Maybe the game was something that helped you through a rough patch in your life. Or maybe some of your fondest memories come from said game and how you played or even who you played with. Whatever your reason for that game being one of your favorites or even just an amazing influence on you and your life, it'll always be special to you. I myself have more than a few games in mind when it comes to having a huge impact on me and my life. And that's what I'll be discussing here in this video. So without further ado, this is Tekken 2 and me. So before I get into Tekken 2 itself, I want to talk about some background first. Around this time in my life, my family had just moved to a new town, and I was young. You know, we're talking about kindergarten here. Games were never a big part of my life at the moment, and I mean, I would still play games with my friends, but it was so far and few between that it never really made much of an impression on me. However, that all changed the day my dad brought home a PS1 and a couple games. The first being Gran Turismo, the racing game, and the second being Tekken 2. Now, my dad loved Gran Turismo, but for me, the game was a bit of a snore fest. It wasn't flashy enough for my small, squishy, malleable, impressionable brain at the time. That is how Tekken 2 would be the first video game and fighting game that would have one of the biggest influences on my life. Now, let me start off by saying I am in no way, shape, or form a pro at fighting games, as you can probably see in the footage of this video, and I doubt I ever will be either. But I can say wholeheartedly I have a huge appreciation for fighting games and their players. There's just something about two players coming together to prove their worth. Masters at their characters, pitted against each other to showcase their skills or just to show off. To come out on top above the others. It sounds dumb, but it's honestly kind of poetic if I say so myself. Ha! Gay! Tekken was the first and by far the best game to prove this to me at the time. I remember watching the title screen intro cascaded with all the characters, showing off their unique designs and even a little backstory for them. And boy, let me tell you, when I opened up that character select screen, I gravitated towards one character. The masked luchador himself, King. Now, I can't say for what reason I chose King in the first place. Maybe it was the sweet mask, or for some reason he always sounded like a jaguar 100% of the time. Or maybe it was those rippling, sweaty, but chiseled and sexy arms. Yeah, no, I was like 5 years old at the time, so it couldn't have been that, right? Right? When I first started, I had absolutely no idea of what I was doing. I was a complete spaz as a kid, and I sort of still am now. I would just mash buttons until it worked, and I swear I broke a controller or two at some point in time because of it. Now eventually I slowly started to get the handle of things and get a general idea of what I needed to do to get better. I learned some pretty simple combos and some throws while I played through the arcade mode, fighting my way till I fought Armored King, and then to Devil Kazuya himself, or Devil at the time. Eventually I had finished the arcade mode and it just became boring to me. And that is when I got my first taste of playing against an actual human opponent, rather than a computer that was easily exploited by throw spam. At this point, I got a chance to learn that people are a whole lot more unpredictable than I would have ever thought. I played other kids, sure, but when I played against my dad, My dad. Oh man, was it on. My dad played the Kung Fu cop Lei Wu Long. I'll be the first to tell you, my dad whooped my ass with Lei Wu Long. Many times over as well. But that alone would be just enough to ignite the competitive spark inside my little noob soul. I'd spend hours upon hours trying to learn even more combos just so I could keep trying to beat my dad. And at some point I actually had a notebook with my illegible notes inside with different combos and tips that I think would help. However, in the end, I don't remember ever beating my dad at Tekken 2. But playing alongside him was always one of my fondest and most fun memories of the game. Thanks, Dad. And hey, thank you, random viewer. This was my first video and not my last attempt, at least, at making videos. I will say, however, I know for a fact I can do better. I'm gonna try and put out better quality as time goes on. This video is pretty much just to get out there and get my foot in the door. You know, I would just stop and stall on a project because me being me, it has to be perfect. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Besides that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have a big game in your life, I'd like to hear about it down in the comments. That being said, I hope you have a great day and a better time gaming. Have a good one.